Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yoga for Everybody. It's great to see you here. I was thinking about spring, of course, and about what it means to try to stay present during spring so we don't miss anything as the earth is arriving again in a new way. And I was thinking about this phrase by Holly Near, this lyric that I've remembered since I was 19, linger on the details, the part that reflects the change. So today we're going to linger on the details, mostly the details of the breath. If you can come into a child's pose with your toes together and your knees out, letting your arms stretch out in front of you. So one of the beautiful things about child's pose is that you can already feel your spine elongating. You can already feel more space in your lungs. And as you stretch your body out, looking for your breath, just noticing where it is. Is your breath caught in your throat? Is your breath mostly in your face? Can you let the breath fill your lungs? Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, everybody. So with that breath, the very focus of your attention today in the class, see if you can start to count it with an inhale, a count of 4, and an exhale, a count of 4. Morning, John. Thank you for coming. When your mind wanders as you're in child's pose and you're stretching out, just let it gently come back to the breath. This is the very foundation of the class. If you can click into that long, slow breath early in class, your whole experience will be different, will be deeper. So from child's pose, you might want to come up into a seated position. There was an amazing interview with Oprah Winfrey and Thich Nhat Hanh when he was still in this realm. And Oprah asked, "Do you meditate every day?" And he said, "I'm meditating right now." Right? So that attention, that mindful attention to breath is something we can do all day long, starting in this class as a reminder of how to stay present to the world. So then, with your eyes closed and that breath now a conscious companion, if you can relax your perineum so that that dome becomes like a sponge, which opens up your connection to the earth, and then letting that energy come up through the perineum, up through the diaphragm, up through the palate, all the way up through the crown chakra, and that establishes that posture, that restful, conscious posture, and then letting the chin drop over the chest. And then the right ear to the right shoulder and the back and to the left shoulder. And starting to find that circle. And with your eyes closed, you might be able to see something that's going on inside the neck. You might feel a certain sensation or see a color or have a certain feeling inside yourself. Really letting the circumference of this rotation expand by letting the breath be the padding. And then coming the other direction. So the athlete in me is impatient often at the beginning of a yoga practice. It's like, really? Do we have to start in such a slow pace? But I've learned that if you can find the breath in that conscious way early on, when you get to the more difficult postures, the breath will be with you. And then the right arm can come up to the sky as you grow the roots from your right sits bone way deep into the ground. So two things are happening at the same time, right? You're growing the roots down deep into the earth as you're also lifting up through the right side body, and then the energy's coming through your right fingers and making an arc back to the earth. And then letting the left arm come up and let it float, right? So you're not really using your muscles because you're keying into the energy. Now grow the roots to the left, sits bone way into the ground, and then opening up, letting the energy come through the left fingers. And again, from the right. And you might do this as well, excuse me, with your eyes closed so you can feel that floating feeling, right? Part of what makes yoga different than exercise is we're working on the 5 sheaths of the body. Not only the physical and the emotional and the bliss body, but we're also working with the energetic body. Very powerful presence. And coming from here into an easy tabletop and finding that slinky cat and cow. So this is one breath, one movement. So Sandy and John, you would be doing this at your own pace, right? Find the breath. Probably slower than I'm doing it because I'm also talking. You're paying attention to the breath. And then starting to do find the figure 8s with the hips to open up. This gentle, soft opening. The right arm can come up to the sky, but let that happen from the lower spine. So instead of throwing the arm up, let it float up so you can feel the vertebrae playing. And then thread that through, put the right ear to the ground. Let the left leg float around so it's connected to the right. And then the left arm comes up. See if you can start to let that left shoulder float. So always the breathing through the nose. The mouth is closed, but it's not tight. It's open. You put the left hand down, come back up into tabletop again, and then from the lower spine to the middle spine to the upper spine, then the arm comes up. Your eyes can reach toward the left fingers without any strain in the eyes. Always the soft eyes that Thich Nhat Hanh taught us about. And the left shoulders now your ballast, so you can really feel the stretch of the spine as you stretch that right leg out, and the right arm can come up. And there's the breath. There's the movement of the breath. These long, slow, deep breaths. Coming back into a tabletop. And now the fingers are spread out like a webbed duck or like geese, and coming into a down dog. That slinky, open, revolving hip. The right leg can come up and let that right hip stack on top of the left as the left heel reaches toward the ground and the head drops between the shoulders. You're letting that stacking increase so that that right hip is absolutely connected and on top to the left hip, and then you can bring it through. And we're working toward a new dance today that we started last week that'll have some of these components. Coming back, letting that left leg come all the way up and bend that knee and stack that hip, and letting that right heel grow the roots way into the earth as you stack the left hip on top. That's the mobility that keeps you feeling juicy and alive during the day. And then the left leg threads through and you can lift your arms up, your right arm up to the sky. Always playing with your hands. That's where the energetics comes through. And then into high plank. And you just brush alongside the inside of the biceps. Pull yourself up. And now check out those hips. Coming into down dog, and see if count of 8 on down dog as the energy is building here. So at each breath, you're letting the energy come up through the hips toward the sky. You're lifting the energy from the earth up through your hips. That's 5. Letting the energy build, using your breath. And then the right leg can come forward. You're into a low lunge. And we're actually in the dance going to do a low lunge that comes all the way down onto your elbows. So you might start that here if you feel loose enough. So rotating around that right hip. Maybe crawl inside that hip because that will really expand the circumference of the stretch. Then put that left knee down and you can let the right leg stretch forward. And now this is a really easy Hanumasana, right? Not a full split. I don't think. Maybe you got one. But so early, probably not. So the right leg comes forward and you use your breath here. Yeah. And coming back from that, and so you're back into down dog, and this time you lift your left leg up so you can come into a low lizard on this side and then crawl into your hips. It's amazing the mobility of a hip if you let the breath be your padding. And crawling down onto your elbows. So you're in a really low lizard here. And stretching out, especially the hips. Relaxing the toes. And then the right knee can come down and the left leg can come forward. And we're not in a full Hanumasana, I don't think. But you can start to feel that stretch. Feeling the breath, being present for yourself. That's the way to be present for other people, right? You can whip that around now, and we're walking our way up to the top of the mat. Arms up to the sky. And Anjali Mudra. And then to celebrate this season, you're starting down in Anjali Mudra. And then you're lifting the fingers up into lotus. There's the lotus blossom coming out of the mud and going up to the sky, cascading down. Flat spine, high plank. low plank, up dog, right leg up to the sky, and your first swan is the exhale. Inhale is swan bow. Exhale pulls you up. Right leg back, left leg up. Coming into swan, and you're moving through honey here, warm honey. Nothing jerky. It's one long, gorgeous reach of the right leg up, pulling it through. Every part of the posture matters, not skipping any steps. Chin stays tucked in until the very last, and then the left leg comes up. That's the inhale. Swan is the exhale. Inhale, head comes to the ground. Exhale, pulling yourself up. Left leg back. Right leg all the way up, pulling it through to swan, so quiet on the mat. And swan bow. Tucking it in, coming up. Left leg up. Pull it through. Swan bow. And now we'll add on, left leg comes back, right leg comes up. And we've been here once before. Here's fallen warrior into starfish. Hip comes to the ground, hand comes to the ground, and reaching all the way up. Hip to the ground, reach all the way up. So this is one breath, one movement. On your breath, your movement. Left hand down, right leg back, left leg all the way up, thread it through, reaching to the back wall. Arm comes up, letting the hip come to the ground and pick it back up. Keeping that mobility in your hips. See if you can feel the energy from the lower spine coming all the way up through the upper spine. Opening up all the chakras. High plank, low plank, up dog. Right leg up to the sky, bend that knee. Stack it, stack it, stack it, and flip the dog. So here in your flip dog, you can open up the heart. Open it up. Flipping back, left leg up, bend that knee, stack the hip, and it's almost a natural flipping over, right? And you can circle around. High plank, low plank, up dog, child's pose. In the child's pose, feel the luxury of the breath right there, right? The luxury. So now, we come to the top of the mat. Here we go, arms up to the sky. Right arm underneath the left. Wiggling your booty back. Pulling the fingers down below the nose. So your feet are together, your knees are together. Your torso stays perpendicular to the ground. Pick up the right leg and fold it around to catch the back of the left calf. And then you readjust all the joints. Let the right leg come all the way back. Now you're in a Virabhadasana 3 with eagle arms. Lying. So quiet here. Arms come up to the sky. Find the back clasp. There's your inhale. Straighten that left leg. Forehead comes to knee. So slow, letting those arms help you move forward. The left hand comes to the ground and the right arm comes up. And then the left hand can come in front so you can pick yourself up into half moon. And you can grab your ankles at this point and come into an easy standing split, working on the balance. And coming back, arms all the way up. Coming on the other side. So the left arm comes underneath the right. Elbows. Wiggling yourself down, pulling your fingers below your nose, which is how you relax the shoulders. Let the shoulders open up, and then the left leg comes around and catches behind the right calf, and then readjust the joints so they're stacked on top of each other. And then big circle around to the back. Using the breath. And letting the left leg float down. The arms come up to the sky. Straighten the right leg, clasping your beautiful hands behind you. And forehead comes to knee. And you might bend the knee a little bit, just so you get that contact. Depends. Each side of the body is so different. And the right hand can come down as you let the left arm float up. And the right hand can come in front now. You can land yourself in half moon with the breath. Coming up from there. So the dance that we started last week starts here in Anjali Mudra. Excuse me. And the hands come up to the sky. Find the lotus. Growing it up. Coming into a figure 4. So the right knee is bent. Coming down. Using the breath. Then taking a big inhale to lift the leg up, so you're presenting the leg. Loops around, you've been here before, find your eagle. And now into Virabhadrasana 3, you've been here before. You're just doing it as part of a Kriya now. Laying that down. Opening the arms into Warrior 2. Reversing the warrior. Side angle. Right hand comes down. Right into side plank. Picking up the toes, letting them reach toward the sky. Putting them down in front, low lizard. Walking it all the way down onto your elbows. Bend that right knee. Let the left leg come around, stacking under to Gomukhasana. Finding that prayer. One more time, filling the heart and finding the prayer. Now we can do that on the other side. So, coming up to the top of the mat again. Grow your lotus. All the way up. This time the left leg comes around to find your eagle. And coming into figure 4. Dropping the fingers down. Straightening that hamstring on the right side, and then coming up and grabbing the leg so you can present the leg. Now dancer, hold on to that left foot. Right arm comes up. Opening into dancer. Rotating around. Reversing that warrior. Side angle. Reversing the warrior. Side angle. This time the left hand comes down. You're in Vasisthasana, side plank, coming to the right wall. Using the breath. Picking up the right foot. Kicking it all the way up to the sky. And then bringing it all the way around so quietly to the top of the mat. There you go. That's the hard part that's also so satisfying. Using the breath. Keeping that left knee bent, putting the right knee on top of it. And now, swan, finding that bow. That's the new Kriya. So now, wiggling down. Wiggling yourself down. Arms up to the sky. Wiggling down. This time, eking in some goddess. Hold it for 8 breaths. And if you start to think, I want to bail, see if you can get the breath deeper. Arms come up to the sky, wiggling all the way down. So here you're in a malasana, garland pose, pressing the hands together. Pressing the hands together lifts the spine. Using that slinky feeling that you had at the beginning of class when we were in tabletop. And now the triceps go on the inside of the right crease, and the left triceps hook on the inside of the left crease in the foot, in the leg. Press again to create that elongation in the spine. And now you're using the triceps as your shelf, rotating, rocking one toe and the other toe, lifting up into crow, and coming back down, lifting up again. And from here, you can easily find yourself in a headstand by just letting the head flop forward, bringing the legs up to the sky. Now the energy from the earth going straight up your feet, and you can open up the legs. And you can also play with the legs, right? One comes forward, one comes back. You're doing scissors. And if you're not in headstand, you can be staying quite perfectly in garland. So you can walk your legs down, using the ab strength, pick yourself up. And now, with your legs a whole bunch, with space between them, Skandasana, finger painting pose. Finding your way into Happy Baby. I know I always look forward to doing Happy Baby with y'all by this time in the practice. Massaging the spine. Doing for yourself what you might have to pay a chiropractor to do. So, from there, since you're all opened up, coming into boat, You can hold your toes, you can bend your knees, you can straighten your legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Slow, so slow, coming down so slow. Use that control. Yeah. You know, we got 2 more of these bad boys in boat, right? Coming back up. This time, maybe hold your toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So slow, so slow. Last time coming up. Gathering the lilies on each side. Like you're getting big bouquet of flowers. For the obliques, for the core, for your breath. Coming down one little bit at a time. So coming into an easy bridge. Again, this is lower back work. Starting with your hands alongside the body. And then you can let them come up. And then when they grace the side of the body, you can pick the hips up and come back down. Inhale pulls you up. Exhale, let you come down. That long, slow breath you've been doing all class is right here for you now. So meditation in motion, that's yoga. That meditation in motion will help you all through the day. Remind you to be present for whatever comes your direction. Now you can use your bicep strength, clasping your fingers, noticing the texture and the softness on the inside of your hands to pick yourself up. And then you can put one hand on the outside of your sacrum on one side, and that butterfly joint, you're surrounding it with the energy from your hands to pick yourself up. And now the legs are perfectly perpendicular to the ground. And there's the same inversion we were doing, just from a slightly different angle. You can release the left hand and scissor. Release the right hand and scissor. And each time you can go a little deeper. This time, grab that left toe with your right finger and stretch it out. And this time the right leg comes all the way above your head. And grab it with your left hand and stretch it out. The hamstrings are so happy to get this stretch, especially from an inversion. Coming down to Baddha Konasana, and then one vertebrae at a time. Let the butterfly flutter. Let the butterfly flutter. Left leg stretches out. Pulling the right knee in. You're looking down the center of the body, keeping the jaw relaxed. Looking down the center of the body. Softly, soft gaze, especially behind the eyes. As you're pulling your knee into your chest and down toward the ground. Creating a tourniquet effect. So when you release that leg, the synovial fluid rushes through the leg, keeping that joint juicy. So we lose some of the synovial fluid if we don't keep moving. And of course, everything is more flowing with the breath. As you're pulling the left knee toward the ground. Your eyes are gazing down and soft. That allows the optic nerve and the top of the spinal cord to be part of this equation, and letting that Left knee. Stretch out, pulling both knees, wrapping around. See if you can grab your elbows and then get the spine to the floor, especially the top part of the spine, right? Letting the breath help you get the shoulders one little bit at a time down to the ground. See if you can grow the roots from the shoulders into the earth. Letting that go. Arms are out in a T. Wrap the right leg around the left. Catch it behind the left calf, or keep your knees together either way. You're dropping the knees over to the left side. Always a spinal twist as a second to last posture. Be sure that that right shoulder is also connected to the earth. Rinsing out the body. Rinsing out the organs. Keeping your large and your small intestine stretched out. Knees come up to the center. Left leg comes around. Let that drop over to the other side. There's a lot of ways to do a spinal twist. I like this one so much because of the way it enlivens the spine. Getting every single vertebrae back in alignment. Knees come up to the center, stretching the legs out. Noticing the quality of your breath as you find yourself in the most important pose, which is Shavasana. Finding total stillness. Sometimes the hardest pose and definitely the most important. Relaxing the fingers and the toes. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Whatever your hips and your feet want today. The hands come together in Anjali Mudra, and we seal the practice with one long Om with a big inhale. May the light within you and the light within me bring justice and peace to this earth. Thank you, Sandy, for your shout out at the end. Be safe, everybody.